Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Stephanie Bree, and today we're talking power tools. And you're probably scratching your head. What the fuck? Alright, so before we get into the meat and potatoes of this video, I want to put two things out there. One, yes, I am transgender. I identify as female. I don't pass by the traditional feminine standards. But to be fair, I wasn't an attractive dude either when I was pretending to be a dude. So I don't rate myself or value myself based on my appearance. Okay? Second thing is, as a trans person, I do consider myself gender non-conforming. And that's just a big fancy word of saying you don't have to be a boy to like power tools. You don't have to be a girl to like Barbie dolls. Like what you like. That's a fancy way of me saying I can still be a transgender woman and also have a fascination with traditionally stereotypical masculine things like cars and power tools and guns, etc., etc. Although guns we're going to talk about again because my previous gun video didn't do it. And I didn't really get into the meat and potatoes of how I feel about guns. I just kind of was reading headlines. That's all it was. So that video may actually be more misleading than you initially thought. Anyways, alright. Let's talk about power tools. I have had a lot of jobs. And in at least 20 to 30% of my jobs, I have had to use power tools in some capacity, or I was selling power tools at one point in time. So power tools are a thing I have had to rely on to make a living. Also, I'm a gamer, and I'm a tinkerer, and I'm kind of a geek, and kind of a dork, and kind of a nerd. I used to take apart my VCR and repair it myself when it broke. I fixed my NES when it broke. I fixed radios. I got a radio out of the dumpster that was covered in spider webs, didn't function, didn't work, didn't do nothing. And I spent 3 months repairing it until I turned it into a goddamn badass sound system, which was my first DJ sound system. So, as a tinkerer, I got familiar with power tools at an early age. Specifically, God damn it, my brain fucking shut off. Soldering iron, that's the word I was looking for. I need some caffeine to wake my brain up. But a soldering iron is, well, okay, compared to a table saw, a kid's toy. Alright, okay. Just in comparison. It's not a literal kid's toy. Kids, do not play with a soldering iron. Please, you will start a fire or kill yourself or worse. Alright? You don't want to fuck around. When I was a teenager, me and my uncle had a side hustle where we would build woodworking items and sell them at the flea market. We primarily sold planter boxes. We had two designs. We had the typical trough, you put the dirt in, it's got legs, it's a rectangle, you plant the plant, you know what I mean, just your basic plant gardening trough. We also had one that was in the shape of a, what the fuck was that? It was a triangle wishing well. It was in the shape of a wishing well. And that one we actually planted rose bushes in, and we sold it as a complete product. So I got to use hammers, which are not power tools, but I also got to use the table saw, and I got to use the power drill. So those are power tools. Sometime later, my dad, who was a mechanic, started to try to teach me the ins and outs of repairing motor vehicles. So he would have me help him out with things. So this would be changing the oil, changing the flat tire. This would be replacing the alternator, whatever the need may be, replacing a belt, whatever. Now, there aren't typically a lot of power tools used in, we're going to say, home repair of automobiles, which is what we were doing. Now, my dad was a mechanic. He worked at a shop. He actually had real tools that he used at work, but at home, he had mechanics tools, but like not the good goods. You know what I mean? So the closest thing to a power tool we used was a air-powered drill bit, which we used, the socket gun to take the nuts and bolts off the lug nuts, I should say, off of the tire, so we could get the tire off the car. That's the closest thing to a power tool we used in that capacity. Now, eventually, I did get a job at that same shop working with my dad for a couple of years. Anyways, a couple of years spread out over 10 years, so not all at once. I went to work there 3 times. The first 2 times, 3 or 4 months each, and then the last time I worked there for a whole year. But I'm not a mechanic, regardless of what some commenters may think. If push comes to shove, I can go out there and do work on my car, maybe some help from YouTube, but for the most part, yeah, I can do some stuff. I'm not a complete noob in that respect, but no, I'm not a mechanic. That's not what I wanted to do with my life. So I didn't stick with it. Another point in my career path, I went on to become an electrician. I was never a journeyman. I was only an apprentice. But I did get to use some fucking fun-ass power tools as an apprentice. I also, prior to getting my electrician's license, apprentice license, I should say, specify, and actually getting a job as an electrical apprentice, I did work in the general construction business. I never got to use a jackhammer, but I did get to use other, common power tools, like, again, the table saw, the power drill, the electric hammer, etc. I've never used a chainsaw, which my only fascination with the chainsaw is by way of the horror franchise, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which I am a fan of, to a degree. And, I've never actually used a chainsaw. And I never will, because I'm pretty fucking clumsy, contrary to popular belief. I'd probably cut my arm and or leg or head off really easily wielding a chainsaw. Mine or yours or whoever's standing 10 feet away. Nobody's safe if you put a chainsaw in my hand. And I don't mean intentionally. I just mean I'm that fucking clumsy. So, when I was in my youth, my younger days, wanting my dad's approval, because, he wanted a son, and so I was playing the part back in the day. My dad and I used to watch a comedian by the name of Tim Allen. He had a pair of comedy specials that we watched, stand-up comedy specials, where he rants and raves about power tools. One was called Tim Allen Rewires America, and the other one was called Tim Allen's Men Are Pigs. But the central focus of the comedy is power tools and man's relationship, man meaning mankind here, humans' relationship to power tools. Also, in the masculine misogynist sense of, yes, your manhood is tied to your power tools as well. That was also included in the comedy. He had a television family-focused sitcom based on his stand-up called Home Improvement in the 90s, and then he repackaged it as what the fuck was it called? Outdoor Man or some bullshit like that in the 2000s-ish. What the fuck was that show called? Outdoor man? I don't fucking remember. Anyways, so I did watch a lot of Home Improvement, and as such, yes, my dad did take me to Sears, and we did shop the Kenmore section and the Craftsman section. That's the word I was looking for, as well as, you know, the tractors and lawnmowers and weed whackers, etc. I have used a weed whacker in multiple professional jobs as well as personal use, and a lawnmower, the push mower, the mechanical push mower, which is not a power tool, and the tractor lawnmower, the driving lawnmower. I've used them all. So what's my current opinion and relationship with power tools? My opinion of power tools is they're pretty fucking awesome. You can do a lot of cool shit with power tools, and you don't have to be a dude, either assigned male at birth or male identifying. You can be a girl, a woman, a non-binary, gender fluid, gender non-conforming. You can be gay, straight. It doesn't fucking matter. Anyone can use power tools. Age appropriate. All right. I don't want 8-year-olds saying the YouTuber said I can use my dad's table saw. I did not say that. Age appropriate, people. I might have to age restrict this video just because I feel like it could be taken the wrong way if I'm not careful. What's my current personal relationship with power tools? Non-existent. I don't own any, and I have no use for them of any nature. I'm not repairing computers or game consoles or VCRs anymore. That's in my past. I'm just not. I don't even own very many game consoles. I don't own a VCR, and my current computer is a laptop. I have no interest in building a desktop. At least not currently. Maybe down the road. That's a maybe, but I don't know. But I just thought this would be a fun video to put out there. You know, the misogynist, you know, pig-headed, toxic masculine dude bros are gonna hate, and you know, that's good. Everybody else, you know what? Power tools are pretty fucking awesome. Stay cool.